Hey everybody, this is Matthew Reale from AquaReale. Behind me is our signature recreation pond. Small, looks more like pond size. Dimensions are about 18 by 18 circle. We have an intake system that's a negative edge to a 1,000-gallon reservoir. We have a 10 by 12 wetland filtration. It's an upflow filtration that keeps the pond crystal clear, pushes beneficial bacteria. And we also have a waterfall component to add that lovely sound that everybody wants to hear, and additional oxygenation. Pond's great for people, it's great for animals. The birds love it. I think I've even seen a deer in this yard drinking from it. Also, as you can see from this photo, the plants around it are great, attractive to the eye, and it's really nice to sit out here at night because it's lit up with our LED color changing light system. Again, 18 by 18, about 8 to 10,000 gallons. To the right of me, it's the headwaters of the system. Call it the headwaters because that's where it's starting from. That's what you see. And in our business, this is really what you want. You want those wet waterfall. That waterfall is providing oxygenation, visual pleasure with the lights. It also can be filtration. In some systems, we do put our filters at the top. In this specific feature, it was not the filtration. This was just for show to hear the sound of water. We can turn that pump off and just have a very quiet system, but quite honestly, this is why we build these things. You can hear it, you can see it, it's churning the water and creating that sound of bubbles. Well, that's oxygenation. We need that exchange of air in the pond. What that does is it feeds the bacteria and oxygen to break down the organics. The organics are what causes your cloudy, nasty water and algae. So in this feature, as you can see, I'm walking through all these plants, but the most notable part of it and most important part of it, I'm standing on it right now, is the wetland filtration. Our goal with these, at least my goal a lot of times, is to make it feel like it's part of the pond and that you don't really see it. There's a clean out right here below my feet. You can be standing on it there. This goes down. It looks like I'm just kind of standing in this little stream area, but it's really a 12 by 12 filter. It's an upflow filter. Water's pumped down to the bottom and it pushes its way through layers of gravel and it filters its way back into the pond. Slow filtration, it's about 3,000 gallons an hour goes through this, but that slow filtration through that rock and gravel allows the bacteria that the oxygen fuels to break down organics, keeping this pond crystal clear. I am standing on our recreational pond's intake. As you can hear a waterfall again, we call this a negative edge intake. Water spills over a rock and it's basically disappearing into a 1,000-gallon basin below here. The 1,000-gallon basin, very important. Number one, I've got my downspouts filtered, so my downspout water comes into this system, fills it up every time it rains. So I've always got a full pool of 1,000 gallons stored underground. What else is important about the 1,000 gallons is the sun doesn't touch it. It stays cool, it adds cool water back into the pond, which helps keep the pond clear, because cool water doesn't grow the algae like hot water does. Also, what I'm standing on, not only is a 1,000-gallon reservoir, it is our pumping station. This pond is powered by 3 pumps. One pump feeds the main waterfall, one pump feeds the wetland filtration, and one pump feeds a jet system which actually keeps the surface water, it keeps it agitated, which is more oxygen. It also creates less stagnation areas, and algae likes stagnation. We got boulders, little rocks, it's fairly camouflaged. This system's great because the footprint is below ground. We can build our rocks right up to it. It doesn't take up much space. The other option on this end would have been to do a skimmer, which most people know in a regular backyard pond. It's an area where water skims into. We call it a skimming cove. But the skimming cove would have had been designed for the amount of pumps and the amount of filtration rate, so amount of gallons per hour we'd say that the system's moving. It ends up being much larger, taking up a larger footprint. And in this small yard, space was a commodity, so we decided to do it with a negative edge and 1,000 gallons right below that waterfall. So this system was designed specifically for this yard. And kind of what I wanted, to have a little more extra sound and some extra elevation changes is what this provided. This negative edge intake has a couple unique parts with it. Number one is water's just disappearing in rock. Where's it going? You get inquisitive, you start digging around to see where it's going. This terminus into this intake, this negative edge, it's creating a lot of oxygen. It's creating another waterfall. It's creating, as the water passes the gravel, it passes through the matrix below, it's bouncing around, creating a lot of oxygen. These systems need a lot of oxygen. That's the one benefit from having a negative edge. Another benefit of having a negative edge, in the fall, when leaves fall, they just get skimmed off the top of this. Very little leaf matter falls at the bottom, but that's the power of a negative edge, it just draws it over the surface. Another part we really like about it, and this whole system, I was creating this yard because it was a small yard, this negative edge waterfall creates a whole nother waterfall experience. If this was an intake, water would just slowly pass into an area, you'd really get no sound, nothing. You'd look at something, but it wouldn't be really like this wow factor. I can put a chair, a little table, I can come on this side, the end of the pond, and enjoy a really nice waterfall. I can also go back that way and enjoy a whole nother waterfall from a different angle. So this negative edge feature gives us a whole nother pondless effect because water's disappearing, there's a waterfall, and I can sit down and I can relax staring at this waterfall that's a main integral part of the pond. So our little rec pond here, about 18 by 18, is 4 feet deep. We chose that depth because, you know, do we really want to go in it? Are we going to go in it? Well, if we want to go in it, 4 feet's a great depth, but it's also a great depth for fish, that really big koi. We chose that for our yard because it proportionally made sense. You have a bigger yard and a larger space, these can go as deep as 6 feet, even 8 feet deep. Now, obviously they get much larger, the rock gets much bigger because you need larger rock to support the higher walls, and it's safer. But the choices are infinite in these systems. We don't have to just go small and shallow. You can go big and bold if you want. So signature swim pond, 18 by 18 size with the components of an intake, a pump intake, wetland filter, and waterfall. The costs are roughly between $120,000 and $150,000 for this specific size. I give that range because there's always factors that we go into is distance from the road, accessibility into the yard, proximity to large trees and things like that, and utilities. This all can change pricing drastically. This project took roughly 60 to 80 tons of boulders. It took 5 to 10 tons of gravel. It took about 3 to 4 weeks to complete. I say 3 to 4 weeks because rain can come into the way. We did ours in the winter time, so we had to deal with snow, but all those factors come into producing this product. We also have to consider a cleanup when we're done. We can make a mess coming in, we do the project. As we're going our way out, we try to clean up on the way out. So when we're done, got a nice looking feature. Again, $120 to $150 for roughly this size of an 18 by 18 recreation pond feature. I'm Matthew Reale. I'm the owner and principal of AquaReale, and really appreciate you watching our video.